Quick question. If the federal government declared a housing emergency and set simple, standard rules for permits and fees, would your Puget Sound property become more valuable? In a lot of cases, yes. Washington's new middle housing laws already allow more homes on a lot in many cities. Think duplexes, fourplexes, and more ADUs than before. The catch is the process. For most small owners, the real blockers are time and fees. In my experience, getting permits for short plats and unit lot subdivisions often takes 12 months or more. And when you add up permitting, impact fees, utility fees, studies, compliance, and holding costs tied to that red tape, it can easily reach about 30% of the total cost to build. All that means the 12 months or more I see now might get even worse, unless there's an intervention to standardize or accelerate the process steps. If the feds called a national emergency and required standard timelines and simpler, consistent fee schedules, here's what would likely happen. Faster decisions. Clear clocks for reviews and inspections cut dead time. Lower predictable fees. Fewer surprises means less risk. Cheaper holding costs. Less time waiting means less interest, taxes, insurance bleeding away. Put together, more projects pencil. And when more projects pencil, buyers pay more for land with development potential. Let me keep this simple. Say a new infill project cost $1 million in hard and soft costs. Today, the regulatory burden runs about 30% of that, or $300,000. And you're waiting 12 months for approvals. Now imagine standardized rules cut that regulatory load from 30% to 20%. That's $100,000 saved. Cut the wait time from 12 months to 6 months, and you might save another $24,000 in holding costs if you're carrying roughly $4,000 per month in interest, tax, and insurance. Total improvement, about $124,000. A builder can use that $124,000 to offer you more for the land and still hit their returns. Now let's scale that down. Imagine you're a homeowner wanting to build a detached ADU for a family or rental income. The project cost $350,000. At today's rules, about 30% of that is $105,000, gets eaten up by fees, permitting, and compliance. You might sit a year waiting to start. If the regulatory load dropped to 20%, that's $35,000 saved. If timelines fell from 12 months to 6 months, carrying costs at, say, $2,000 a month could save you another $12,000. Total improvement, $47,000. For a regular homeowner, that can be the difference between building the ADU or shelving the idea. Because Washington already allows more units on many lots, simplifying permits and fees does not create new rights. It activates the rights you already have. Duplex instead of one house, a fourplex near transit, an ADU plus a DADU, the play is the same, but the numbers finally work. Property near transit, corner lots, wider lots, and parcels with simple utility tie-ins often see the biggest jump. Steep slopes, critical areas, tricky sewer, or private easements still matter. Standardization helps, but it does not erase site constraints. Not every city will move at the same pace. Safety and environmental checks still exist. Labor and materials still cost money. And your results depend on your exact lot, your city's code update, and your utility situation. Also, local governments may push back if forced into standard timelines without extra staffing support. You might get faster, but only if capacity is added to actual processes at the requests. If you own a property in the Puget Sound, here's how to prep. Find your allowed unit count under current middle housing rules. Map your likely approvals path for short plat or unit lot subdivision. Estimate today's fees and a 12-month timeline so you know your baseline. Rerun the numbers, imagining a 6-month timeline and lower regulatory burden. See how that changes what a buyer could offer, or whether you can finally build that ADU yourself. If you want, I can build a quick what-if sheet for your address so you can see what your property might realistically be worth if timelines and fees come down. I help homeowners understand the highest and best use of their lot under Washington's new rules. If you want a simple feasibility snapshot with today's delays versus a fast track scenario, reach out and I'll walk you through it.